Thanks for joining me in this yoga in bed practice. We'll begin lying down. You can be lying on your bed, you can be lying on the floor, and see if you can do that without the use of a pillow. With your knees bent, place your hands just to the low belly. Allow your in-breath and your out-breath to be very full. Just feel the expansion in the low belly and attune yourself to your breath. Breathe in and just feel as the diaphragm drops toward your pelvis. Just feel the expansion in the low belly area. Give a little pressure to that low belly area on the exhale. Breathe in and breathe out long. Now begin to move your feet with your feet about hip distance apart. Zigzag your feet as you move your feet by moving first the toes, then the heels over to the right, back to center, and over to the left. So you're just allowing yourself to move and get more flexibility in the ankle area as you move the feet to one side and the other side. This zigzag walking, I like doing it standing up too, but it also works to exercise and create more flexibility in your ankle area. Come back to the center position. Draw your right knee in. Reach your right foot to the sky. Interlace your fingers in the belly of your hamstrings and draw your toes up toward the sky and draw your toes back toward your face. Reach the toes up, point your foot, and dorsiflexion of your foot. Lift your right heel a little higher than your toes. Reach the toes up, draw down, and up and down. Release your right foot. Hug your left thigh in, interlace your fingers at the belly of the hamstrings again, and as you reach your foot up toward the sky, point your toes, flex and draw your toes toward your face, reach up and draw down, toes reach up, pointing, and you flex, reaching the heel up, toes down. One more, reach up and draw down. Now see if you can take both feet up toward the sky. Your knees can be bent, and if that feels like it's too much for you, just take one foot up. So free your arms and reach your toes toward the sky and draw the toes down. And reach up and draw the toes down. See if you can move the feet just a little bit further back so there's a little bit more arch in your low back. Point the feet and draw the toes toward your face. Keep that action alive. Now bend your right knee. Interlace your fingers behind the right thigh again. Reach your left leg straight out and do that same thing, the pointing of the feet, and draw back, point, draw back, toes toward your face. One more, point, draw back. Now take both legs up again, bend your left knee. Take your fingers interlaced behind your thigh, reach your right leg straight back, and if it feels like it's too much for you to elevate the foot, you can take it down, of course. But see if you can, again, do the action with your feet. Point, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. Bend both knees and plant your feet. Take your feet together, and as you press your feet in toward each other, imagine that your feet are like a book. With the feet together, see if you can open the book so that on their own power, you can take the base of the big toe away from each other while the outside edge of the foot is still pressing in. Keep that. Press your elbows down. Lift your heart. Can you lift your pelvis up as well? Maybe just a little bit. Release your pelvis down. Release your hands. Now draw your knees in toward each other. Lift your feet up again. Rather than take them straight up with straight legs, bend your knees. Take your feet just a little bit further back and make circles with your feet. If 2 feet up is a little bit strenuous for you, just have 1 foot. Do 1 foot at a time. So you're drawing your feet in this rotation where they're going to the left and around. And now do the opposite. Draw your toes toward the right and around in a clockwise direction. So you get a lot of flexibility, a lot of movement in the ankle area. Now draw your feet down. Take your feet nice and wide apart, a lot wider than your hips are. As you do, draw your knees over to the right so you're on the inside edge of the left foot, the outside edge of the right foot. Inhale, lift your knees up, take your knees toward the left side. Now let's do that a little slower. Lift your knees up, come back to the center position. You feel the full foot pressing down. Now draw to the edges of your feet and just feel as you press your feet very firmly into the bed. See if you can engage the legs more fully. Inhale, come back to the center position. Exhale, come to the twist. Take your knees over and really press your feet down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, take your knees to the side, really pressing the feet. Inhale, lift the knees up. Exhale, take the knees to the left. Inhale, lift your knees up. Take your feet hip distance apart, so slightly narrower. As you press your feet down, pull from the heel toward the pelvis. And when you do, notice how much of a curve you get in the lumbar spine. Keep that curve. Lift yourself up. Now see if you can lift your heels up in this bridge pose. Take your heels down, lift your toes up. Take your toes down, lift your heels up. Take your heels down, lift your toes up. One more. Lift your heels up, take your heels down, lift your toes up. With your feet firmly planted, toes down, heels down, let your pelvis draw down just slightly. Take your right leg up and just lift up the pelvis a little bit. Point your toes, draw your pelvis down and flex your foot. Lift your pelvis up. Point your toes, flex your foot and draw your pelvis down. Lift your pelvis up, point your toes, and flex the right foot. Take your pelvis down, take your foot down. Inhale, lift your pelvis just slightly off the bed. Take your left foot in the air. Leg doesn't have to be straight, it can be slightly bent. And as you lift up, point your toes. As you draw down, flex your foot, reach up and point. Draw down and flex. Reach up, draw down, reach up, pointing. Draw down, release your foot down and your pelvis down. Take your feet once again in that prayer position where the bottoms of the feet are really pressing each other. Can you scoot your feet a little bit closer now to the pelvis and imagine that you're opening that book up so that the base of the big toes are not pressing in so much. If you can just get a little space between the base of the toes, that just creates a nice opening. Now lift your pelvis up just slightly. Release your pelvis down and straighten your legs. And as your legs are straight, just allow your feet to be like windshield wipers, just going side to side. Now come back to the center position and point your feet away from your face. Draw your toes toward your face. Again, point them away and draw them toward your face. Now relax your legs and close your eyes. In just a few moves, we're able to get just a little bit more flexibility in our feet. Creating a little bit more ankle stability. And certainly more awareness to our feet and our ankles. With your eyes closed, with your arms relaxed, your legs relaxed, just have your attention focused on your breath. And allow your body to feel like it's completely supported. Breathe in deep and out long. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice, which was an exploration of our feet and our ankles that enable us to provide so much stability as we make our way into our daily activities. Namaste.